So many ways we build families, so many ways we come together, all of them worthy, so far as they magnify love. Particularly today, friends, I am curious about what it means to be a gentle, angry people. Holly Near wrote this song in the aftermath of the assassination of Harvey Milk, that loud and proud proponent for same-sex marriage and equality under the law. That was a long time ago now. And still the emotion of anger, coupled with a firm yet gentle resolve, this is what has carried so many protesters and reformers and good troublemakers through the decades that followed that terrible night in San Francisco up to today. Now, while we were very joyful and having fun yesterday, I personally remember a time where pride felt far more like a resistance. Not even that long ago. I'm sure there are people here who remember when pride really felt like resistance. I don't think we should lose that energy or forget what we are about, forget the anger in favor of gentleness, for we do need both. I think you know the kind of anger I'm talking about, the anger that I share with you, friends, especially today. I'm betting that many of you are experiencing a similar anger at the growing, not diminishing, economic and health inequalities, the divides in this country. This disparity is not a small thing. It's not a new thing. It is a big thing. It's worthy of righteous anger, my righteous anger, your righteous anger. This was intended to be more of a meditation, but I got a little carried away. So when I was living at the Punk House in Knoxville, Tennessee, many, many years ago, we played host to all manner of characters who would pass through. We lived very cheaply and split rent like 6 ways. It's a way to live, friends. We would have all kinds of people come into town for protests and whatnot. Sometimes folks had a real edge on them, earned by chasing fires, making good trouble, yet this would occasionally manifest as a disparagement of those who were not hard, right? Perhaps folks have a vulnerability that makes their arrestability in any given social political action very low. And this is understandable to me, yet even if in this staunchly progressive space that was Hawthorne House, there was a fair share of chest pounding and bravado about anger and people who preferred that gentle edge. My housemate and close friend to this day, Dee Steele, a man who was attacked by police in West Virginia after he tethered himself to some mountaintop removal machinery with the organization Ramps to protest the desecration of the land, he would say no. Even this guy, no, not hardness, bravery, not softness, sensitivity. We understood anger as a vital force, but on its own, it is pure fire. Some folks will get consumed by this anger. Some folks do get consumed by this anger. Some folks, regrettably, and through their wounds, seem to just live to watch the world burn. Not here. I remind folks of that idea of Thich Nhat Hanh, who said that anger is not necessarily a problem to be solved or an evil to be eliminated. It is to be transformed from something unskillful into something skillful. In other words, we notice our anger. We feel our anger. We honor the source of our anger. We sit with our anger for a while, for as long as it takes for our hearts to begin the process of letting the energy behind our anger transform into gentleness without losing its momentum. Gentle, but not soft. Gentle and determined. Unless my anger leads me towards wholeness, unless our anger leads us towards wholeness, towards the unity of being and purpose expressed so well and simply by Holly Near, indeed, that same kind of unity that is so forward in the minds of mystics like Rumi and Hedwig of Antwerp and Julian and Norwich and all these folks, and we are not moving in that direction. It does nothing to reduce suffering or increase equity, justice, pluralism, interdependence, does not expand our generosity. It does not move for love. Speaking of love, this idea of gentleness and anger, this week as I've been tossing it around in my head, it reminds me of an idea we explored earlier this year around Martin Luther King's articulation of love and power, how power without love is reckless and abusive, how love without power is sentimental and anemic, how justice is the synthesis of this love and power, that power may remove everything that rises as an obstacle against love. Gentleness and anger have a similar quality to them. Gentle power, loving anger. Now that's kind of an odd thing to feel, right? Anger and love together. But I reckon as we grapple with these feelings that are so often constructed as intractable and opposites, I feel we may be kind of in the toss of the sublimation of this dialectic. That's a lot of $10 words. These things don't often seem like they fit together right, do they? I reckon if we come into the presence of these feelings and reckon with them inside of ourselves, that is when we come onto the precipice of the mystery, like capital M mystery. The mystery that some people name God, that I prefer just to name mystery with y'all because I want to leave it up to you. But it is the dark and the confusion and the uncertainty of how we fit these things together. I don't think this is a thing we can figure out before we move, friends. We move into this day and into the future. Once again, as history is being made around us, history that we did not ask for, a history that hurts to see, a history that hurts to contemplate what it is going to be like for the tomorrows and the tomorrow after that. What does it mean? I am not sure. But I aim to be at that altar of mystery with you, friends, finding the line between, thin as it might be, between where love and anger meet, so that our gentleness may be suffused with a kind of power that can move us out into the world, to speak truth to power, to proclaim the name of that love that sets all free. May we be such a people, friends. For it is not the wild-eyed people burning with anger, set to turn the world to ashes. It is not the people who just want it all to stop. These are not the people who will change the world. It is the people who can meet love and power, gentleness and anger, who can hold them at once in one heart, as one part of one larger body, and move together to make the movement move. Amen. Amen. No, I love it. I live for it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I invite you just to take some breaths with me, friends. And what tension that we're holding in our body, anxieties or apprehensions, know that they are not bad, that they are a way our body tries to take care of itself. Meanwhile, the world goes on. May we lay these down for a moment. For a moment, may we make everything holy now. As we hear these words from our friends online and in person. In the Book of Life in the Sanctuary, Chris Peters writes, "Happy to have my wife in church with me today. Yay, Anna, glad to see you. This week, we leave the country together to try to build better." Well, you better come back, Chris. We will miss you. Go with blessings, Chris and Anna. May your adventures be safe and memorable. And from Zoom, Tom shares, "Grateful this week to have celebrated my birthday with so many friends." Yay, happy birthday, Tom. "Thank you for joining me on this orbit around the sun, as all of our years are." Lucy Horpadal writes, "For my parents, tomorrow my dad has an appointment with his oncologist to find out about radiation treatments for his prostate cancer." Lucy, holding you in love during that strange and challenging time. May you reach out to the love that you so richly deserve. Gary Scarborough writes, "I am grateful for time spent with family and being immersed in kindness and curiosity." Amen, Gary. Right there with you. And Joel and Kathy, very appropriate to the times, expressing their concern about the political climate after yesterday's attempt on President Trump's life at a rally, by former President Trump's life at a rally. May our democracy stand strong, y'all. May we be resilient. Jill Archer writes, my family has deep sadness for my niece and nephew who went from the joy of pregnancy to the grief of having so many problems with fetal viability. We are vulnerable in so many ways, Jill. Jill, may your whole family be surrounded by a love that keeps and carries and holds all through trials. And may you reach out for love as you need it, Jill. It is here for you. And one amongst us writes, hoping for healing after some cruel comments from my father when I reached out in kindness, dear friend. I'm so sorry to hear that. Friends, will you join me in that spirit of reverence, contemplation, some call prayer? Spirit of life and love, mystery surpassing our understanding. May you remain big enough that for what parts of us can project an idea like faith forward into the unknown, that we might at least name you love. Not a plastic or a cheap or an easy love, but a love that is there when things start to fall apart. That love of liberation, that weeps when we weep, that elates in freedom and joy and new life in this world, that understands and carries the complexities of life all at once, the living and the losing, the birthing and the dying, the transformation that is ever present, that transformation that we know to be of value, for all things change, all things that are living, our bodies, our traditions, our ideas, this whole cosmos turning. Where are we turning? May all roads and all waters lead us back to love. Amen. And blessed be.